Believing your child when he or she claims innocent of what he or she has been accused of, even when all facts are directed at him, can be very difficult. But as parents, how well do we know our kids to believe them when they claim innocence of what we are talking about? That is what we'll be talking about today. To what extent do we believe our kids in any circumstance? Hello everyone, welcome to True Mother's Tears. My name is Zaina Mahmoud. I'm a grief loss and a parenting coach. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell on notification to be notified whenever there's a new video from us. And then again, hit the like button and make a comment. Don't forget to leave a comment before you leave our page. And if you've been with me from the onset, I don't always forget to thank you. Thank you so very much for being with me. Thank you can't be enough, but I'll just keep repeating it because that's all I can say to every one of you that's supported me this far. So today we're talking about to what extent should parents believe their kids in whatever circumstance. And then why I want to talk about this topic is because I was rubbing mind with a friend. We're discussing I grew up to see myself with my grandmother, and she also told me that she grew up with someone before she eventually came to live with her parents. So we're talking about our experience, and then she told me something that really, it caught me because it was something that it took her time to get over, and it has shaped her mind in her parenting skills. It has shaped the way she treats her kids, and I just feel like it's something that I should talk about because it touched me, and I feel like sometimes we might not know when we do those kind of things to our kids, and we might not know the extent of the damage we'll do to them. So that's why I feel like let's talk about it. If you have any comment about what I've just talked about, you can go down below to leave that comment. So it turned out that my friend had lived with her aunt. Her aunt is actually a much older woman, so she felt like she was living her grandmother kind of, but she was actually her aunt. So she enjoyed her stay with her aunt, just came to stay with her parent, and then on a certain day, the money got missing in the house, and the mother called her. She was the first person the mother suspected. Why? The mother said prior to that day, there hadn't been any case of stolen money. Nothing had ever gotten missing in the house. And she was the new person in the house. So the mother was like, okay, she didn't stay with the mother. The mother was just getting to know her. She didn't really know what her daughter had grown to be. She didn't know, she couldn't vouch for the daughter at that time. At the time the daughter just came to stay with her because she had lived with her big aunt for years. And then the mother called her and said, money had never gotten missing in this house. You're the new person that is living with us, and now money is missing. So where did you keep the money? The mother just outrightly accused her of taking the money. And then my friend said she doesn't know what it means to steal. Because she grew up with her aunt who never made her lack of, this small money to buy sweet and chewing gum and biscuits, and she didn't know what it means to steal. She has never thought of it. So what the mother was accusing her of was new to her, but she just knew that whatever it is, whatever stealing was, she didn't do it. She didn't take money, even though she grew up being given money. She didn't take something. She couldn't have taken something she wasn't given. So she told the mother that she didn't take the money, and then the mother went on accusing her of taking it and all that, and the mother said she was going to punish her, she was going to beat her. The mother threatened her with so many things that my friend agreed to have taken the money. Because she was scared of what the mother said she was going to do to her. And the mother went ahead to tell her that if she says the truth, she will not beat her and she will not do any of those things to her. So my friend agreed to have stolen the money. Meanwhile, in her mind, she knew she was lying, but she had to lie to stop the mother from beating her. But it did something to her. It made her feel very bad. It made her feel, and at this stage she was just 8 years old. So you can imagine a child of 8 years old lying on herself about something she didn't do. She knew very, very well that she didn't do it, but because she didn't want to be beaten, she had to lie to prevent the mother from beating her. So she lied, but it never left her memory that she didn't do well by herself. She felt like I should have just allowed my mom to beat me and then still stand by my words. At that very young age, she said it to herself, and then she promised herself that she was never going to lie, no matter the circumstance. She was never going to lie to anybody. She would rather take whatever beating or punishment they intend giving to her. But for her to lie on herself about being the one that had done whatever she was being accused of was something she was never going to do again. So fast forward to years after. Now she had grown. She was 14 years old, and she was a little more matured than when she was 8. And that thing didn't leave her memory. Something happened that, she said she took a particular cloth, and then the cloth fell. She had used the cloth and dropped it somewhere. She didn't know when the cloth dropped from her, but the mother came and saw the cloth in another place. And then the mother had seen her with the cloth earlier, but she knew that maybe, she said she felt the cloth must have dropped while she was in the sitting room, but the mother saw it in front of the bathroom. Then the mother called her and said, it was just a mild discussion. Why did you drop that cloth in front of the bathroom? And she told the mother, I'm not the one. Because the last time she remembered was that cloth was in the sitting room. So she told the mom that I'm not the one that dropped the cloth in front of the bathroom. And the mother got very angry. Why would you be lying over something that small? And she kept on saying she wasn't the one. The next thing, the mother slapped her. And the moment the mother slapped her, my friend said she remembered what happened 6 years ago when she had to lie on herself to prevent the mom from beating her. But this time around, she was ready to take anything the mother would do to her. So she kept, even after the first slap, she said she just held her cheeks and she told the mother, I'm not the one that dropped the cloth there. And then the mother slapped her again. And she repeated it, and then the mother slapped her again. So the mother slapped her 3 times. But she still stood her ground to say she was not the one that dropped the cloth. So it was after the mother had slapped her the 3rd time, the brother heard and came out to tell the mom that, that I'm the one that dropped the cloth. They had actually packed other clothes to wash. I didn't know that cloth was amongst them. So when I finished washing, I forgot to take it away from there. And then my friend said she just walked away from where the mother was and went to the room. She didn't feel the pain of the slap because she felt she had paid herself for what happened 6 years before. And she was at the same time proud of herself that she could stand her ground over something very trivial, but she stood her ground that she didn't do it. And then she was beaten over it, but she still stood her ground. So that's why I want to talk about it today. To what extent do we believe our kids when they say they are not responsible for what we are accusing them of? My friend's mother later apologized to her, but she said the apology was not, it didn't hit her the way she reacted. She felt she could tap herself on the back and say, yes, you did well. You have paid yourself back for what you did to yourself 6 years ago. So that, I'm now looking at it, and then she said because of that, it shaped the way she treats her own kids. When they do something and then they come up to say they are not responsible for it, no matter the circumstance, no matter how clear it is that it's the child that is responsible, she tends to want to believe the child. And in many cases, it has always turned out to be that the child is not responsible for what the child says he's not responsible for. So, and if she didn't have this experience, probably she wouldn't have been that kind of mom that would easily believe her child. So what I want to talk about now is when you have a child or children, you try to understand their character very well, try to know their personality very well, so that you can know exactly what that child, the capability of that child. So when the child says, Mommy, I'm not responsible for this, or I didn't do it, you will 100% believe that child, no matter the facts, no matter all the pointers on ground, you will believe the child. If my friend didn't have this experience, probably when her child says, because she gave me a scenario of when her child did something and then she didn't believe him and she accused him of, the boy told her that he was not the one that did it, But because of all the things on ground, even though she remembers this particular incident, she felt like you are the one. And then she said the boy went behind to write her a letter and said, "Mommy, I didn't do this. You just accused me of what I didn't do." So she was like, "Oh, this thing, history is repeating itself. I have to be 100% careful the way I treat my child." So you see, it's all of us. We parents have to be 100% careful. Because sometimes when we look at facts on ground and we feel like you are the one, it can't be any other person. You were the one there at the time it happened, or you are the one, you have done it before. For it to be repeating itself, it means you are the one that did it again. All those things, we just have to be very, very careful. Because when we accuse our child of doing something he or she didn't do, and then we don't give the child the room to explain, or we don't give the child a second thought to believe, to feel that the child might be right with what he or she is saying, we are actually killing that child. Because you don't know the extent at which that thing can go in damaging the child's personality. Thank God my friend got an opportunity to play back history and, corrected it. Some children might not have the opportunity to correct something that is haunting them in their mind. They will not have that opportunity to play out their innocence, So let's just try to be careful. Let's always give that second thought to the child, that what if this child is not responsible for what we are accusing him or her of doing? It can go a long way, and then the child will also feel that, yes, my mom has got my back, my mom will believe me, my mom knows me. It builds the trust between you and the child more. But at the same time, there's a thin line. When they know that, oh, mommy always believe me when I say this, when I say that, they'll try to take advantage and do the wrong thing and come and lie to mommy, and mommy will believe. That is when you, as a parent, now have to act like the detective. You have to bring up that detective character in you to always scrutinize things. Know when your child is lying, and then also know we all know our kids. We know sometimes, to a large extent, we know what they are capable of and what they are not capable of. All I'm just trying to say is, when you accuse your child of doing something, always give that room of what if it's not him or her. Because kids can do a lot of things, they can take advantage, but at the same time, what if the child is saying the truth? Because it's better for you to, play safe and believe the child, than for you to beat a child and accuse that child of what he or she didn't do. That one does more damage to the child's personality than when you believe the child when he or she is lying. So I know there is a thing, we just have to be very careful and try to always know, even though we cannot, try to investigate a matter thoroughly before we accuse a child of being guilty or not guilty of whatever has happened. So there is no one way rule to it. Kids can lie, there's kids don't lie. It's now left for you as a parent to use the detective quality in you to scrutinize what your child is saying, to know if the child is saying the truth or not. But in most cases, always give that room of this child might be right. And then there is a way you will question your child, without beating. There are some things you say to a child that will hit the child, that will hit the mind of that child, without scaring the child with beating or punishment or, something of that nature that will not make the child to say the truth. So if you always threaten, is when you threaten a child with beating and all that, because the child is scared, does not want to be beaten, the child might end up lying on him or herself. But when you say there are ways of talking with the child, of like, how about if you turn the scenario the other way around? What if I do something, me as your mom, imagine you are my mom, that's, you're talking to the child now. Imagine you are my mom, and then I do this and I come to lie to you, or I say this to you, how would you feel? There are some things you say to a child that really hit the inner part of that child, that will make the child to come out to say the truth to you. So let's try to train our kids in a way that they will most of the time say the truth, and then let's not always threaten them with beating or punishment to scare them to go as far as lying on themselves. let us all have a way of making that child to come out to say the actual thing that happened and in the exact way it happened. With that, we will know ourselves, we will know our kids more, because the more things like this happen, the more you know how well your child will respond to different scenarios, and then you know your child better. Then you can hit your chest to say, yes, I know, I trust my child, I know what him or her can do. You know, in that scenario, you are sure of the upbringing you've given to your child. So on this note, I'd like to end it here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell on notification. Also like our videos, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any comments about what I've just discussed, don't forget to go down below and leave your comment. For those that have been with us from the onset, thank you so very much. So till we meet in our next video, do have a lovely weekend and stay blessed. Thank you. Bye bye.